Hey, Damian Lanfranchi here.
And Mark Evans, DM.
Welcome to the Virtual Deal Factory Daily. We wanted to do something special. We might start doing this every week, once a week, depending if you guys say you like it. We thought we'd do some just Q&A, sort of the members speak. I don't know. We're hanging out in our kitchens, Mark. Maybe we can call this crazy kitchen question time of the week.
You're so creative, Damian. So creative.
I don't know if you like that name. I like alliterations, crazy. And quiz, I don't know. I'm not going anywhere with that. So we get a ton of questions from you guys. We love getting questions. So we thought we'd spend some time answering them. So Mark, you got one up there?
I do, absolutely. I sit here. I'm kind of old school. I write stuff down here, but I do. We have one from Babs in them, and it says, "I'm not just 100% sure how to structure a deal where an investor has the property under contract and wants to use one of my buyer leads. I don't want to give the information out until I have my interest covered." Again, let me repeat this. What she's saying is, I'm not 100% sure how to structure a deal where an investor has the property under contract and wants to use one of my buyer leads. Her biggest thing is she doesn't want to give up that control, so she loses her interest. Damian, give me your input on this, because you and I might have a different piece on this, which is what makes us business guys.
Sure. So there's two parts. I mean, the first part is certainly that fear of giving up control, and the second part is the practical part. I think that Babs is talking about there is like, what am I looking to make? How am I figuring out the financials? So dealing with the first part is, when it comes to business, and again, we might disagree on this, Mark, but when it comes to business and taking opportunities as a real estate investor, you have to take action, and sometimes, you have to be practical. But at the same time, you have to understand there's always a certain amount of risk involved. I mean, perfect example is like when we started this, Mark, like we didn't, I was like, hey, maybe we should get like an attorney and spend all this time. And you were like, let's just get something rolling. I was like, you know what, you're right. Let's start building something and we can do other stuff along the way. So a lot of times you have to operate in good faith. Now, that doesn't mean you're a fool. You have to make sure that you maintain control of your situation. Now, that's all kind of broad and squishy, How do we put that into something practical?
Yeah. Here, real quick, Damian, can I jump in on that since we're on that piece first? What Damian's saying is, our goal in my whole mind, and honestly, guys, and I live by this, I truly believe what you see in others is kind of who you are internally. Now, I'm not saying you're going to go out there and take advantage of someone. I truly think that most of the people in this world are good-hearted and not going to do anything to take advantage of you. That's how I feel personally. And like Damian said, I do believe that, truly. Every day. And are you going to get burnt sometimes? Absolutely. But I promise you, the action that you're constantly be taking to get to that point, by the time you do get burnt, it might be the first time, it might be the 100th time. Just protect yourself where you know your downside if you get burnt. Let's face it. Let's say if you lose one buyer through taking action and not worrying about that one piece, but you move forward, the most you can lose is that buyer. That's it. They can't come and take your newborn child or you or whatever. Your downside is so limited. However, every single day, I get questions like this on my side, and Damian, you do too, I'm sure. But we see this. The inactivity that you don't move forward because of this one hang-up. And guys, this is a very valid hang-up. I'm not diminishing it by all means. But you got to look at the positive side and say, you know what? If it does happen, and I did get taken advantage of, and they swooped my buyer out from under me because I was irresponsible or I didn't take the right pieces or they were just a sleazy person, so to speak, then you know what not to do next time. And, again, that's why we want you to ask these questions is so we can help you through this. All you need to do is get a piece of paper signed between you and the buyer, or excuse me, you and the seller, and say, hey, let's put this deal together, and just be, buy his property by a letter of intent. Damian, with the letter of intent, they don't even have to deal with their buyer. They could do it indirectly. So, for example, let's say Damian he's the seller. I'm a buyer for my buyer, so to speak, right? And let's use my fiance Dina. Dina is my buyer. So instead of me hooking my buyer up with the seller inside the system, I would do a letter of intent giving like a good faith, like, I, Mark Evans, want to purchase this property in regards to blah, 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 with a 7-day rescission, 10-day, whatever you need, and have it go through me, and then I talk directly to my buyer. This way, it keeps you in full control, And if your seller's not willing to do that, it's probably not a deal anyways. That could usually the next question. But truthfully, on all things, not just this piece, look at your downside and weigh it out. Is it worth worrying about or is it not? And then move forward. Because I can tell you right now, your opportunities will be much bigger because you can help more buyers that way. And not only that, the people that Damien, do you believe like attracts like, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So in Virtual Deal Factory, I really feel like the way we've positioned our environment and our following, or what's the right word terminology? I know it's early here. So what's the
are we looking for
the culture?
Is that,
the right culture. The right culture. The people are coming in the system to be honest, ethical, hardworking people just like you and I, and they're going to do the right thing. And they actually will probably go above and beyond to do the right thing. So that's why it's so important for us and for you to keep the system clean, to keep it, moving and active, and keep the culture intact. Again, I don't want to get on, I can go all day about this, but
I know you could talk all day. So I know a practical question that Babs would probably have is, so that's very makes sense, simple letter of intent. I agree, like if you're not doing a multi-million-dollar deal, you're not dragging in 3 lawyers and crazy binders, you just need to take a reasonable action to protect yourself, but at the same time, not sort of hamstring your own success because you're so worried about failure or being taken advantage of, because you'll never be successful like that.
Absolutely.
But Babs has a great point. How would you, just very practically speaking, again, not knowing the numbers or specifics of the deal, Mark,
okay.
If you were in Babs' situation, you had the buyer lead, somebody said, hey, I have a property that matches them, I could work with your buyer. How would you look to split the potential profit and the money?
Well, typically what's going to happen is, so the seller already has his profit in mind. Let's use a $100,000 house. Let's say if the house is $100,000 and they said, hey, that's how much it's worth. And they said, hey, Mark, I want to sell it for $80,000 to a retail person. I'd say, great. What's your best price? They're going to say $80,000. I say, okay. My buyer, I would teach them that it's going to be $85,000. So what I would do is not split the profits, because you can kind of, again, Virtual Deal Factory is not, and myself and Damien's not giving any advice here. We're not acting like lawyers or anything, so please consult a lawyer on this. But instead of acting like a realtor illegally, you create the letter of intent for $80,000, one piece of paper, and then you go to your buyer and sell it to them via contractual for $85,000, $81,000, whatever the number is. Therefore, the seller gets what he wants, you get what you want, and the buyer gets what they want. That's how I would set up. It's super easy, it's super clean, and it's super fast.
That's a great answer.
Wow, it is?
Yeah, I'm impressed. You got an A, Mark.
I just read this book on how to do that, so I'm glad I did
that. we got another question here.
Okay, what is it?
It said, Mark, have you always been so muscly?
Mark, have I always been so muscly, huh? Well, actually, I'm flexing here for you right now. Dina, every morning I get up, she actually puts me on an air pump and pumps them up for me. So we only have 30 pounds of pressure in the muscles today. So I'm not as muscly as I normally am.
So that was fun, man. It was a good release for me.
Absolutely, that's great.
I know you have one more serious question over there, Mark.
Absolutely. I do have a serious question. Since Damien and I were posing off on the Virtual Deal Factory shirts and all that, a lot of people's coming in asking, they said, hey, I want the VDF shirts. How do we get them? People are asking how they can get the stuff that we have in the Virtual Deal Factory, not the stuff that we have, just kind of the pieces that we've just kind of threw together and created. And good news, we're going to be coming out with a VDF store, but we got to get the person name first. We got to get our character name first,
exactly.
Damien, right?
Exactly.
So once we do that,
I'm so glad you got back to that. That's why, you guys, here's your little reminder again. Name the VDF mascot contest. You're going to see it off to one of these sides over here. You're going to see it. All you do is just send the name to name the mascot at virtualdealfactory.com. Submit it in. Mark, myself, and Lou Cosolino, our grand opening manager, we're going to pick our top 8 favorites. 8 favorites. And then after that, we're going to let you guys vote and decide. So there's been a chance to be a part of Virtual Deal Factory history and win a very, very cool gift. We're giving away a flip-top portable DVD player plus a VDF deal fun pack, which, yes, there will be a VDF custom shirt in there. So.
Absolutely. So we'll have some cool stuff in there for you guys. So make sure you do that. That's a very serious, that's a question that we've been getting a lot. So thank you guys for that and keep that up. Damien, I think you just chimed in. You said you had one more question?
Actually, I have no more questions.
All right. Well, I do have another question.
I have one more question for you.
All right.
I have a question for you. When we were talking about the green episode, why didn't you tell me that 420 is like, and green is like a pot thing?
Because, you know, I'm sitting here, you got me all flabbergasted right now, but I think the funny thing is, we're so oblivious to this stuff, I don't pay attention.
No.
So 420 and pot and stuff, who knows?
Yeah, thanks.
420
thanks.
friendly.
I'm like, dude, I'm a clean dude, church guy. Like, so I have no idea. And then Mark afterwards, he's like, do you know 420? And you were talking about green, like it's all like pot related. And I'm like, great, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thanks.
That's my question. That's my question. I just wrote it in. I'm gonna send it to
you. Exactly. No, I think, you know, again, guys, you know, whatever you do on your own time's up to you, and we're not advocating that. But with Virtual Deal Factory, we are green and not that kind of green. We're here to help you guys, and we're excited that you guys are sharing your information with us. Keep asking your questions. We do want your questions. Obviously, we can't get to all of them every time. This is a quick episode here to hang out with you, say hi, thank you for having us in your home and or office or wherever you're at. And until tomorrow, Damien, right? We'll be around, and make sure you put in your vote.
Yep. We'll see you next time on the Virtual Deal Factory Daily. Take care.
See you next time.